I'm going to do the.
Yeah, you're doing really good with questions. It's getting really interesting.
Oh,
I
thank
heard
you.
you this morning talking about me.
I talk about everybody. So okay, so so we should be live streaming now, and so
Okay.
welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll just read your bio, and then we'll get started. So my fantastic guest today is Celia Hatch, who is a shamanic healer, remote viewer, psychic, podcaster, herbalist, and Reiki master. Jane speaks openly about her experiences as a targeted, empowered individual, and as a survivor of the secret space program, CIA's MKULTRA mind control program, and the Freemason connected family court system. But through her work, Jane explores spiritual healing, consciousness, resilience, and reclaiming personal sovereignty. So, welcome, Jane Hatch. How are you?
Thank you. I'm pretty good today. It's beautiful today in Santa Fe. I'm okay today. Thank
Yeah,
you.
awesome. I think for me, the energies have dropped today, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and their energies have dropped as well. And it was grey. The day started so grey. I'm just going to get my chat open. So I've got my chat open on a separate screen. So I'm just going to get that open now. So I
Is it
wanted
just you and
to.
I?
It's just the two of us.
Oh,
We're
okay. I thought it was a
live.
group. Oh, I know what you said a group chat, but just
Yeah,
me. Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. That's fine.
So we have an AnchorHaven crew basically who turns up in the chat. So whenever I
Oh,
go
okay.
live, yeah, so Flix Love is already here. So my regular guys will start popping in. A lot of us are on the Typical Skeptic podcast chat.
Okay.
So there's a lot of experiences that come in my chat, and we show up for each other most days. So people will start filing in now, and then they'll put questions in the chat as we go along. But I wanted to start off talking about the Secret Space program, so the special access programs, and kind of how you realised that that applied to you, because I didn't know it applied to me until the last 18 months. It
Me
really didn't.
either.
And then I've had to catch up so fast and really kind of understand this language that people are speaking, experiences and places. And so when did you realise the SSP actually applied to you as well?
It was only recently as well, I'd say in the last 3 years that I began to, it's sort of like I went from the end to the beginning, and then I started to pick out different pieces and put things together. It was more like putting together a piece of, a puzzle rather than a linear. And I think it started with James Rink, like with a lot of people, we were watching his super soldier. Just you felt it was sort of random, but you also felt like, my God, intense interest, and you were really pulling in all the information. And I knew that I had been MK ultraed by a lot of my signs and symptoms and how the patterns in my life evolve. But again, it's hard. I'm going from the end to the beginning. I would say the first visual memory I had was with James Rink after one of his shows, and I had watched Peter the Insider, and so it's starting to connect with like galactic energies. And this is sounds so simplistic, but I actually use Peter the Insider's tea. Have you ever heard of that? And
People have been talking about it recently. So yeah, that peppermint tea, is it?
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm an herbalist, and I looked at the ingredients. I thought there's nothing in here psychedelic, or it's very simple. It's like peppermint, lemon, cinnamon, and honey, or something like that. But there's some combination of it that must trigger some connection. And it did. And I did it for 3 nights in a row. And I think by the third one, I was having recall. And I knew it was a recall because it wasn't like a dream, it wasn't like a shamanic journey. It was very distinctive. And I think the first memory I had was with James Ring, and I believe it was either Mars or the moon. And it was it ended up being a German colony. But I recall I was in the back of like a little cart. It was sort of dark, and we were coming down the side of a mountain and very, very narrow edge. He was pulling me in this cart in a motorcycle, and it was very narrow and winding. And I think I feel like he had rescued me from maybe a breeding farm. I don't know where he rescued me. I'm trying to get that back. And so we're going down a very narrow, winding hill, and I was very out of it. And I thought, well, even if we go over the cliff, I don't care. I'm just, there's some, I'm just, I don't care. But we got to the bottom, we got out, and it was like a German village with cobblestone streets. I knew it wasn't Earth. It was like Mars or the moon. And he got me out of the cart, and we stood in front of this house. It was like archetypal European with cobblestones and flower pots. And I knew this house was a safe house and we were going to go in there, but that's where that one ended. And
Okay,
then I had,
the guys are saying just sit a little bit back from the mic because they're saying it's too over attenuated, which I don't know what that means.
maybe
Just
I did
relax.
this. Maybe
But
I
then
did
that
this.
blocks half your face. Okay, let's try it out. Let's try it out. So
I
shout out to
know,
everyone in
I
the chat.
know.
Thank you. Yeah.
Ask them if this is better. Okay. Yeah, is that better? Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Yeah, I can hear you fine. I'm just waiting for the chat to update. So there's like a 3 to 5 second delay as it streams out to YouTube. So I'm just waiting for
Okay.
Flix and Kat and Nathan and Sil in the chat to let us know. Yep, it's better now. It's better now. Yeah, so you're okay to get close to it if you've got the thing in front. That's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know it's just so much. I gotta get something else.
Yeah.
So the next one I had was that I believe I was abducted by Operation Paperclip Nazis in the 60s in combination with Raytheon Corporation and the Navy, US Navy.
What do you
And
know
I
about
know that
Raytheon? Because I've not really heard about them before.
yeah, this is brand new. And Andrea Martin of Growing Up Alien and myself are one of the few two people that talk about it because we're both from Massachusetts. Raytheon is one of the biggest weapons manufacturers in the world, and specifically in this country. And they started out in Massachusetts. They had a couple of different offices there, and my father worked for them, and my uncle worked for them. And my uncle actually participated in the Minuteman missile. So there's many, many ties to my family and Raytheon, which is why I started to, and I knew my father became wealthy after his connection with Raytheon. And I actually saw a remote view him signing a contract with Raytheon. And I don't think he knew how serious it was. I thought they just told him I was talented. But he was the one that signed the contract with them in Hanover, Massachusetts. And also the Navy was involved because the Navy used to sort of drive around our neighborhood in the 60s in white vans, and they would pick up kids actually, and some of them would come back and some wouldn't. And so I put a lot of like I'm trying to tell it really fast, but there's a lot of pieces I put together over the last 3 years that connected it with Raytheon. They're basically a huge German-owned weapons manufacturing company. And they collaborated with the Navy and the Nazis in the 60s in a lot of our space exploration. I saw myself in an underground base there. Andrew Martin was also abducted, she believes, by Raytheon Corporation. And there's a lot going on in Massachusetts people don't realize because it's like not, Dulce or New Mexico, and one of the places where everybody perceives abduction. There's a lot going on in Massachusetts. It's just hidden under the MIT, Harvard. My father was tied into them too. They were
Mm.
buying capacitors and chips.
Yeah.
So it was Harvard, MIT, Raytheon, and then my father, and so
So
I and my uncle.
we've got Nathan Fox in the chat saying that Raytheon make planetary defense systems off planet. A network of sensors and weapon stations intercept hostile approaching. So they've got the on planet defense contracts and off planet as well. Yeah, so they are a major player.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, there was a whistleblower that appeared on Emma, the Imagination podcast, a Raytheon whistleblower who was in Antarctica. They told him he was there to support the scientists, but he figured out it was Raytheon, and they were also developing the directed energy weapons in Antarctica that a lot of us are getting hit by. He said they're coming all the way from Antarctica. So Raytheon's really, not, of course, they're not just defense against other, they're targeting us.
Yeah.
Raytheon
So Kat in the
Corporation is
chat
targeting
is
us.
mentioning her brother who also worked there as his first engineering job, but he left because they were using him in compartmentalized weapons development. So yeah, so they've
Wow,
got
this
a
is really interesting. I love the comments, when you do a
yeah.
interview, you learn so much too, because people can, wow, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, they were one of the plaintiffs in targetedjustice.com. They filed a lawsuit, and Raytheon was one of the people they filed against. They have evidence connecting them to directed energy weapons hitting people. So I was involved in the experimentation for them to the point they've developed it now, I'm pretty sure. So that's really interesting what they just said. Yeah. And my uncle was involved in the Minuteman missile development, which was this, one of a big quantum leap in defense.
Mm.
He became, when he retired, he was the lead engineer for Raytheon in Massachusetts. So that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Do you feel like you get hit by direct energy weapons now? Yeah. What does that feel like to you? Is it a particular place in the body?
Yeah, I've been being hit by them for 20 years since I was a whistleblower journalist in Maine, and I was reporting on Bath Ironworks whistleblowing, and I was getting hit from Brunswick Military Base, and that was the worst. I'm telling you, it's subsided. It was I can't. Some of it felt like I would get hit, and my whole body would be. I can't. Some of it felt like it was eating my insides out. The
Mm.
first hits. I think they were trying to kill me in the beginning, and it. Some of it was coming. I know it was coming from satellite cell like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I would have protection over me. I could hear it like boom on the tinfoil.
Yeah.
I had a lead vest. I had layers of what do they call it? Insulation, the bubble installation, and then I would have to have tinfoil. I could still hear it coming in, I could still feel. So now they're sort of coming up. Like I just took a nap and they kind of hit me. So I felt a little sick when I got up, but I have like a big black onyx and like a pyramid or organite right by my stomach. They seem to go for my stomach a lot. It when it comes up from below, I don't know which form. There's like three or four
Mm.
forms of energy weapons that they use on us. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. All depending upon where they hit me. Sometimes they can even make my body move. They can all kinds of things, but the hits that I'm getting now, mostly if I don't catch them, like I have layers of protection under me. I don't have it over me now because thank God they're not hitting me from above. Yeah, cross fingers. Uh, it feels nauseated. I feel tired. I feel dizzy. I can't
Mm.
think straight. Depending upon where they hit me.
Yeah, I've been getting, and it's just as you started talking about it, it felt like lasers coming into my mouth, it's like on my upper. So I've not had that before. It's hot there on that side of the face. It's really hot on that side of the face. So there's like something coming directly in. Yeah, much more.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting because when I do interviews, sometimes my face gets so red. I don't know if people see it or not, but it's almost like what you're experiencing now. It's just like a heat. And yeah, they've done some real damage to the back of my teeth and the back. And
yeah.
yeah, it really depends upon which particular weapon they're using and what part of the body they're using it on. They use remote neuro monitoring, which they can squeeze my head really tight. Have you ever had that?
Yes,
If they don't
yes.
like what you're go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's funny because I've done videos of Miles Johnson talking about different types of targeting, but it's the RNM that's coming into my mind a lot at the moment, and I keep thinking I need to go back and figure out what that is because I've forgotten. I get a lot of mind wipes, but you're right. Yeah, you're right. It is. I had something similar, that kind of feeling of being pushed and pulled at the same time, but I was integrating alters at the time. So I thought it was just that. But it could have been like that going on at the same time to stop me. That's really bizarre. So I need to do more research.
If
Go back and watch my
Yeah, if they don't like
what I need
something
to do.
you're doing or something you're about to do, they can put like really
Yeah.
extreme pressure on your temples.
Yeah.
I've never, it's not agonizing. It's just, it's very noticeable and they want you to, stop what you're doing
Yeah.
and it'll increase. And everything is relative to how much or how little they care about what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm quite institutionalized. I keep to my routines. I've analyzed my targeting patterns, and
Okay.
I can get around most things as long as I've got plenty of
Yes.
notice. If I make changes short notice, like immediate plan change, then I get hit quite bad to the point of I've like not been able to walk somewhere and stuff. But lately I've been getting somebody's watching me, and I know they are because it activates my right temple when I'm being watched. So, but this isn't
Mm.
a normal handler. This is that Project Oblivion, somebody in our community. I'm on their mind, and my mind's picking up on that attention. So I've been getting that lately. And then there's little tiny little hits coming in that I can feel, okay, this is not my usual handler. This is not the handling division. This is like people around me. Like I'm on their mind. So I'm picking up on that at the moment. Um,
That's a real advance because once we figure out the codes and we can sense
yeah,
this and we that dismantles them because they operate in the dark and secrecy and they
yeah,
like to hit people that are unprepared and don't know what's going on. So we're dismantling the system just by speaking out and saying, what's going on. They don't like that.
yeah.
So that's a real advance, I think, when we can
It
say
was
it's a new.
Yeah, last year, because I wasn't really aware of the handlers much until last year. And then it was actually Brian Seng who gave me some advice, and he said, heal your handlers, tune into them and talk to them. So I was just standing at the bus stop and I was saying to them, I know you're there, and I really appreciate you watching over me. Right? So they're watching over me, they're protecting me. So I've got loads of different factions. So one of them's got to be trying to keep me alive. That's how I see it. So I started to say, I really appreciate it. I love you. Thank you so much. And a voice at the back of my mind said, no, stop it. It's not like that. That's wrong. And I was like, I love you. At least I know you're there watching over me, and I really appreciate it.
Right.
But I was actually talking to a friend today who's getting quite a lot of targeting, and I was saying, okay, tune into your handler and let them know that you know that they're there. You know that they're also a targeted individual and it's not their fault, that they are so weak and vulnerable, right? That they're being used as a handler, But again, we love you, we heal you, we see you, even though you're a handler, right? Because it could be any
Mhm.
one of us. It really could. I know I've got clones who are used as handlers in China and stuff like that. I know I have. Yeah, because I've seen through one of their eyes. Yeah,
Yeah, and I often, try to educate them, say, you're more disposable than we are. We're under contract, like Raytheon owns me, they can't kill me, or, but they're disposable. And they will be disposed of because they'll know too much by the end of the program.
it's
So
true.
just remind them, your days are numbered where they want to keep us alive for sometimes weapons testing or
Yeah.
tracking or we're owned by the Navy or this that, but they can get rid of them overnight and they should know that.
They'll just be
The hand
mind wiped, just like the rest of us, mind wiped and put back in. So, I mean, the great thing about having a podcast is I can go back and watch things. But it's when I notice on other people's podcasts, this video from 3 months ago, hang on, I've not seen this before. I'm on a 3 month cycle and I find the same content. They can keep mind wiping me, that's absolutely fine, but I find it again 3 months later, and my friends have witnessed me do this as well. I found this great video, we spoke about that 3 months ago, and I'm like, boom. So I have to
Yeah.
re-watch my own content as well, because like I
Oh,
need to go
that's
back and watch
interesting.
those videos of Miles, because I need to top up on what it means, like the remote neural monitoring and stuff. I'm just checking the chat. So Eric says, "How do I watch the chat and keep talking without looking?" No, when Jane is talking, then I watch the chat. That's how I do it. I'm not like up and down because it's like my chat is below me. It's on the screen below me. So I've got eyes in different directions. So you had a memory come in about you and James Ring. Has there been any other memories that have come forward?
Yeah, I had a very distinct memory of operating one of the very early, supposedly called UFOs. I believe they were German built. I believe they were German UFOs. I was operating it telepathically. I was in the ship. I was only about 4 or 5 years old, and there was no instruments, but I could guide it with telepathically. So I have memories of flying UFOs in the 60s. And I think they were the old fashioned saucers you see, the little black ones and the black and white. and I was dropping bombs. I hate to say it, and I don't know if it was test trials they had me doing, but and I've never heard of a UFO dropping bombs, but that's what was happening, and I don't know what I was over. And again, I don't know if this was a test. They were using me to see if where I how successful I was at both navigation and warfare. But I was very like 5. I mean, at least my body was. Maybe they hadn't don't minded me. I only saw from the back. I also saw being used in deep water ocean testing, where they were throwing us, it looked very like medieval kind of cages into the water to see how long it would take before we had froze or die, and they would pull us up right before. But I believe that was I heard that it was for testing for pilots, if the parachute didn't open or something happened and they went into the water, what they would need, how long they would have to survive. So it was part of developing some sort of defense for pilots. I remember something about, and because I went to a shaman like years ago, and they said, I see you shaking and frozen, and and I was like, I have no idea, and now I know it, 30 years later, that I did, that was the origin of me shaking, was this testing that they put me through. I also saw later, just recently, well, within the last year, I saw myself on the chair, not the Montauk, but a chair that looked like the chair, it looked like a dentist chair. And I believe it was deep underground military base in Needham. And it was men in white coats, not to be cliche, but and I think they were Raytheon, and they were torturing me, I think, with some sort of water boarding, until they split an altar out, and the altar went through a portal to a Stargate, and I opened the Stargate to Antarctica. And I didn't do they needed my relationship with the Stargate to open it. It wasn't a key or a formula that I had memorized. It was a kind of love, or some like recognition.
Yeah, I get that.
You do?
Yeah,
I didn't for years. I'm like, but I could tell it's like it recognized me and opened, but
yeah,
they couldn't have done it. And I just remember looking through to Antarctica, and that's the end of that. But
yeah.
I really, really want to find out if I went through or they went through, and what I saw, so
Mm.
that I know that they were able to use me to open at least one Stargate
Yeah,
to
certain
Antarctica.
greater stargates are conscious beings, and they're aware of who is around them that has the capability to, to fix them or connect with them. They know. I had a stargate reach out to me a couple of years ago, and it came in very, very clearly in my mind. It was as if it was similar to SG1, but it wasn't. But it was golden, and in the center there was an omega symbol. And I asked Audrey Walters about it because somebody had said to me, "Oh, I'm not liking that. That's like a death thing." And I was like, "Okay, that doesn't feel right," because it didn't feel bad. It felt positive. Audrey
Yeah.
Walters actually governs stargates in this sector, and she said, "No, that's a personal relationship you have with the stargate. It was looking for a technician to recalibrate it, and you were the closest one. So it connected into my energetic field to recalibrate the stargate." Yeah, so there's that energetic connection there. So it's not reconnected since, but I think about 6 months later, I asked Audrey to check on it, and she said it was fine. So yeah, so she's got a connection to all of the stargates in this part of the galaxy. Yeah,
I think I heard her talk about that with Arkeem Ra. Did her
yeah,
family or something, and was in charge or had been. Yeah, but I
yeah,
heard that. I have not heard until this moment what you sort of affirmed, that I believed and I felt that it was a relationship I had that opened the
yeah.
Stargate, whereas these scientists could not have done it.
No.
and
Well,
they
they
had to
they
get
need
it.
our we have a particular kind of DNA makeup that allows us to connect to the Stargate. But they are conscious, they are aware. Some of them move around and stuff like that. They're real beings. Yeah, they're not all, it depends on different classification. I know Audrey talks about different ages of Stargates having different capabilities. Yeah. There is a question in the chat from Kat. If you want to take the question, or do you want me to wait?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. It says, Jane, would you speak to what has been going on or under mass as an undergrad in Wellesley? My roommate's dad worked in at Hanscom, AFB, so Alpha Foxtrot Bravo, and Los Alamos for work. Are these bases that are on your radar?
Interesting. I grew up in Needham, which is right next to Wellesley. Is she at
Okay.
Wellesley College where Hillary went? Sorry to make the connection. Yeah. My experience was only in Needham, Route 128, which was called in the 60s and 70s America's Technology Highway. And I had a visceral response to the whole area. There's 300 acres called an industrial park. And my understanding from seeing myself there that there was underground bases that were, like I just said, kind of a collaboration between MIT, Harvard, Raytheon, the Germans, because Raytheon is German, and the Navy. I don't, I've had a couple of clients that have talked to me about that area, that there is all kinds of interconnecting underground bases. I think she said, did she say AFB, Hanscom Air Force Base? Where is that? Where is it?
Oh, I don't know. Let me check.
Okay. Uh,
Checking one moment. Uh, it just says
um,
Massachusetts Port Authority.
okay. So it's a military
So,
base. Sounds like it
yeah.
was on a waterway. I just know that the whole American Technology Highway, Route 128, a lot of them, Honeywell,
Yeah, it's near
Raytheon,
128. It is. It's
yeah,
near
that
128. It's
whole
like right in the
area.
middle of town as well. It's like a subway nearby and stuff, and a conference
Yeah,
center,
yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, they're all involved. They were involved in the microchips and the all kinds of chipping. My father sold them to China. And I don't know about that particular base, but I just know the American Technology Highway had a very, very creepy feeling. It was all cement, sort of I am pie.
Mm.
And I think it was all a cover for, the weapons manufacturing. They pretended they were very upscale, and, Needham Wellesley were very upscale, hoity-toity neighborhoods. And everybody there was living off a lot of the profits from, the weapons manufacturing, although they thought it was something else. I don't know specifically Hanscom Force Base, but Wellesley was a little more protected than Needham. Needham was sitting right on 128 and the 300-acre Needham Industrial Park where my father worked.
Okay, so there's a question from Eric in the chat, and he was saying, Anchor, this is for me. If you could go through one Stargate, what one would it be and why? It would probably be the Stargates in Thailand that take you through to that realm where you've got the blue beings that look like the Hindu gods. I'd probably go there. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm not too sure. How about you? Are you familiar with Stargate locations? John Whitberg has done a Stargate show, a video, and we've also done a Sacred Sites one together where we talk about Stargates on there. There is a version of me in Cheyenne Mountain who works the Stargates there as well. Okay, so there's questions in the chat about Havana syndrome. So I'm familiar with Havana syndrome. Are you familiar?
Yes,
Okay, have you ever experienced it? Because I have. I believe I have.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, many, many, many times, because I've been being hit for 30 years. Since I was a newspaper reporter in Maine and I was revealing the atrocities committed by Bath Iron Works and the Navy, they started hitting me then. We didn't have a name for it. We didn't have all the resources. It was like 1990, like we were, on our own, and I didn't know what to call it. But yes, Havana syndrome is another
Mm.
name for, the symptoms of a targeted individual.
Yeah,
And
I got the symptoms up because it's so many of this last year or year before last when I was working on that nuclear processing plant. I really felt like my radiation dose was so much higher than everybody else's, and I was literally told, no, don't be stupid. But some of the symptoms, sudden loud sounds or pressure sensations. Some people have sat next to me and they've heard bangs coming out of my head, right? Ringing in the ears, tinnitus, it's full on for me. Headaches, dizziness or vertigo, nausea, brain fog or difficulty concentrating. Oh my God, the last 2 years have been so bad. Memory problems, fatigue, sleep disturbances. I hardly sleep at night. I sleep in the day a little bit. Sensitivity to sound or light. I've not had that too much. Have you had that much? Um, Balance and coordination, yes, but because I've got hearing issues, they kind of say it's because of that. Anxiety or panic symptoms. Now, I've been full on with anxiety for the last 3 years. It's not mine. It stays with me, but it's dumped on me for sure. Vision disturbances, neck pain, or head pressure. So, how many of those
all the
symptoms have
above.
you had? Yeah,
All the above, all the
all
above.
of them.
It's interesting you talk about loud sounds because they use it when I'm right going into REM so that it
Yeah.
fills my body with adrenaline. And sometimes it's accompanied by a visual, like I'm stepping off a high step and I'm
Hmm.
about to fall like 4 steps
Yes,
down. Have
yes.
you had that too?
I
It,
have had that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, all kinds of things you couldn't even imagine that you're
yeah,
you're about to fall off a bridge or you're about to hit
yeah.
a car, and it wakes you out of REM, which they're watching your brain. They know
Mm,
when you're going into REM, and they know the worst possible time to do it. And what happens, the worst part for me is that it's not the sound, is that my body fills with adrenaline and my heart starts racing.
yeah,
Like you would in normal life. They're recreating it's a holographic image and they're recreating the actual experience and your body feels as if it's happening, and
yeah,
that can take a couple days to heal. Like I've had Havana syndrome so bad I had to go and get oxygen,
yeah.
you know
I'm on heart medications to slow myself down because my heart is really high blood pressure all the time. So I have to
oh
slow myself
really.
down. Yeah. So that's why I don't do many guest spots where I'm the guest because it makes me anxious and then my heart rate goes through the roof so bad and I get extra
Yeah,
targeting. Jason is saying, what do you guys hope comes out in the MK Ultra hearing on Wednesday? Are you familiar with that?
I've seen the advertisement. I haven't read it. I guess I'm getting a little callous. I hope something happens. I hope that they're not just going to say that this is something that happens, that Russia's doing it. Are they going to go and say Russia's doing it again? Like, or, the terrorists are doing it. I think to make advancements, we have to find out this really went on steroids after the Patriot Act and Obama, and they're dumping trillions into this program, and all the presidents know about it. If they start saying civilians, innocent American Western civilians are getting hit, that's what I would like to see come out of it. Not that Russia is trying to, I know people have gone to Russia to escape directed energy weapons in America. So that's what I would like to see, is that
Yeah,
they acknowledge it's happening to us
yeah.
and from our own military.
Yeah, I mean, somehow if they can link that back into the secret space programs, special access programs,
Yes.
because it's all mind control, it's all MK Ultra. So it's gonna open the door, perhaps, but I don't trust any of it. I really don't.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's the aftercare. You know that too. I heard you say that
yeah,
recently. It's the aftercare.
yeah,
Targeting is the aftercare of a secret space program to keep us shut up, dead, whatever they want,
yeah.
or whatever their goal is.
Yeah, so Olivia
Uh,
James talked about that, and it's also referenced from Olivia James in James Rink's book about the aftercare program. So maybe they retire you from the program, but really you just moved into a different program called aftercare, or like I'm in the TIRAP, which is Targeted Individual Research Advanced Projects, which is like one of the very first targeting programs that they put in. So they're just monitoring you. They return you in a body that's broken and a body that's got aged organs and things like that. So you've got repeated health conditions conditions and you're never really going to get better, so that you become addicted to all the medicines and things like that. So yeah, this aftercare program is rubbish. It's really rubbish. Just shout
Yeah.
out to everyone in the chat. So we've got like 16 people watching. Thank you so much. And it's great to see Iron Bear. We've not seen Iron Bear for a while. Hope you're all right there. Okay, I'm just scanning the chat. Kat is saying not too far outside Boston. And Beamy is mentioning Lockheed Martin. Where did that just go then? I lost
New
it.
Hampshire.
Yeah. Oh yeah, is Lockheed Martin involved or connected with Raytheon? Beamy's asking.
I think
They're also
they are.
aerospace, right? Are they aerospace?
Yeah, I know that targetedjustice.com also one of the defendants is Lockheed Martin. Yeah, they're connected. I think they're in the sense they're both weapons manufacturers, and if they're weapons manufacturers, they're probably involved in SSP and targeting.
Yeah. Source Approved has said she's definitely experienced all of these types of, targeting at all levels. And Karen is saying she plans on going to the Bosnian pyramids soon. Karen, we seriously need to hook up. I'm not joking. If she lives near me, we need to talk. Because I can't wait to go to Bosnian pyramids. So let's see. Bimi saying I've had to get a grounding mat. It helps with the electrical. Have you got anything like that? Grounding mat? I have, but I don't use it very often.
I have a very expensive thing called a beamer. And if I one of the settings I can sleep with it on, and I don't know if it grounds, but it redistributes the directed energy weapons. So yes, I
Yeah.
do. And yeah, I do. I would call it, Beamer doesn't advertise as that, but that's how it works for me.
Essential. I do have a grounding mat because one time I got overloaded with energy to the point of everybody I spoke to said my phone is about to blow up. You need to hang up right now. And I had to stand on my grounding mat and just dump energy into the grounding mat so that I could walk and get outside to ground outside, but I couldn't go anywhere because I was just overloaded. I was like this massive fireball and I had to dump into my grounding mat, and it was insane.
I
So
wanted
okay.
to tell you there's a really good herb that I take. Actually, I grow it and make is motherwort.
Oh yeah.
Leon, yeah, it's very good for settling your heart and keeping your heart rhythm steady. And I take that a lot
Yeah.
and I make it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
grow it and I process it.
I calm myself with Pepsi Max, but Pepsi Max also contains aspartame, which I've discovered doing some research is used in mind wiping. I'm
Aspartame.
literally mind wiping myself every day. What the
I,
actual hell?
I
So,
know.
okay. So
Oh my
Eric is
gosh.
saying, what is a targeted individual's least favorite department store? Target, of course. The
Walmart.
second runner up is Peeps. Eric, you're
I don't
cracking me
know,
up
peeps.
today.
I can't hardly go into a Walmart. I can feel like trafficking, or I should
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah,
gonna get
people get abducted from
sued
Walmarts.
by so
People
many
do.
companies. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
feel it. Like I can feel when something's going on under me, whether it's a bad contaminated ley line or trap. My legs start to shake, and
Oh,
I know
okay.
like it's a shaking sensation, and I
That's
know,
interesting.
and I feel that in
I,
Walmart.
I get a similar vibration through my lower legs when energy's
Yeah,
shifting around me. Yeah, I get that too. And that has
yeah,
started a few years back when I started to connect with Archangel Zadkiel, and he's like a dark energy worker. So when I work with people, even when I do card readings, I'll feel shifts of energy through my lower legs when that person's field is recalibrating. So it's like an angelic connection that I have. Yeah, Heather's saying she also uses the grounding mat and grounding crystals. So any crystals, red, brown, black, I consider them all to be grounding. Iron Bear hates Walmart. I know people have been abducted from Walmart bathrooms and stuff. I've heard people talk about that. Yeah,
scary place.
it is.
And they're
We're
closing
gonna get
everything
sued by
down.
Walmart now.
I know. They're closing everything
Allegedly.
down. They want you to go to the big box stores in America, and I swear I'll start whittling sticks before I'll, to make my own before I go back to Walmart.
I'll start churning my own butter. No.
I'll weave my own sheets and I whatever. Plus, you go in there. If you actually read the labels on things, it says this product is known to cause cancer in California. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. Are people not reading? Like, they actually have
Yeah.
warnings,
Yeah.
whether it's, cookware or camping gear. You look and there can't everything. It's like a death shop.
Yeah. That's bad. We're so going to get this taken down. I have to put it on Rumble.
Companies can I hit?
Oh my God, that's bad.
Raytheon, Lockheed. Well, we're on a roll.
If anyone's got any questions for Jane, please pop them in the chat. Flick's the same, but only in California. It's only California that's put the label on, It'll be fine everywhere else. Nobody cares.
Well, California is the only one that I don't know. It was they had a high enough standard or something. So yeah, I don't know, but it was like by California standards, this will kill you. Basically,
yeah. That's really bad though, isn't it? And I saw something on Facebook about when it comes to like the FDA, it doesn't matter if the product is bad for you, as long as you label it correctly, then it'll still get approved as long as it says correctly what it is and is not, kind of thing, which is
people
bad.
are so brainwashed, they only believe like the newscasters. And if you actually tell people what's on the label, they'll call you a conspiracy theorist. And you say, no, I just read it on the label. And they go, oh, well, that doesn't mean anything. So they know now they can actually label it and it doesn't matter.
Okay, so let's have some questions from the chat, guys. If you've got any questions for Jane, let us know. Have you got any events coming up or anything like that?
I don't. I've been thinking about, doing Reiki level 1, 2, and 3 and trying to combine, I'm putting it together again. And I just don't know where it will be. I'm moving, I hope, to the East Coast. So I don't want to set up
a lot. You always say you're moving. What's going on?
I'm trying. It's just so hard to move to the East Coast now. It's like so expensive and housing is so hard to get. My whole family's there. My daughters are there basically, or two of them. And I miss the ocean incredibly and the ferries of the England and New England. And my mother's from Nova Scotia, my father's from Maine. It's in my blood. I was mind controlled to go to Santa Fe. I thought I was escaping, but I was going to the head of the beast, because everybody knows New Mexico is quite.
I literally got forced back from India to come back to my hometown, where there's 250 meters away from me is a shipping yard where I was abducted as a child. Across the river in Liverpool City is a deep underground military base where there's a freaking black pyramid ship. Right, so that I've connected into psychically and I've been inside it and everything, but it's like, hello, the control mechanism here basically so they could get my son, I think is what it was as well, so which he's in the room over there, so I'm pointing, so it's yeah, so
they can actually control your body sensation, so they can make you excited to go, and that's the tricky part. It's so tricky. Or they want you to do something, they'll inject you with a positive emotion, and then vice versa. If you're going like towards a good person that'd be good for you, they'll make you quit or cut it off or something like that. But but I actually, this time I gave my notice. I've been in this house for 10 years. But July 1st, so if anybody knows any rentals in Massachusetts that aren't astronomical, I'm trying to get back for spiritual as well as family and
Oh, Karen's just put a big wow there. Karen, who lives about 3 miles away from me and may not have been aware of the military bases right by. I'm so sorry, Karen. Spoiler. So, I have experienced it because years ago I was I had my first holiday abroad, and when I was there, not only was I was on an island where there was a base, and I've only just recently found that out, but I was so like, I can't go back to the UK, and my energy dropped so bad. But what it actually was, I realize now, was I've been reassigned to a different program. So I took so many months, sold off everything I owed to go traveling, backpacking. I'd just been reassigned to another country and then another country and another country, another country. And that's what basically happened to me in my 20s and 30s. Yeah. So until finally I settled in India, and then I became part of the Indian SSP. And I spent 10 years out there, but that was time dilated into like 50 to 100 years or whatever. So yeah, so they do. You're right. They
So
make you
tricky.
they make you want to do things. But I'm the kind of person, like, I want to be traveling. I want to be on the move. I don't want to be stuck here. I've been
No.
here for like 11 years this time. I've got to go. So I'm hoping to come to America next year, to, connect with
Oh,
some soul
great.
family. Yeah, but
Love
I'd
to
like to
have you.
settle in Mexico. I would. I know a lot of people in Texas. So everyone seems to be moving to Texas. Why do you reckon that
Yeah.
is?
Somebody gave me a reason for that. I can't remember what it was. They're like, just go to Texas. Maybe it was you. That's a short trip for me too.
Probably
It's like
because
five
it's easy to
hours.
get to Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've
Yeah.
got an
And
outlet out the country if you need it.
yeah, and you can be armed.
Oh, you can
Open.
be armed in Texas. Yeah,
Oh
open
yeah.
carry.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you carry a gun?
I would consider it, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we're constantly under threat. I mean, there's certain targeted individuals, not Nathan Reynolds, but J.R. Sweet. He is completely armed all of the time, and he's in recovery from MKUltra and a family secret satanic family who is constantly tracking him down and trying to assassinate him and his family. So he's heavily armed all the time. I mean, my defense is more spiritual. I mean, it would depend upon the situation. If I was alone in the country, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, missing time 420 saying you can become a cartel boss.
Finally, I found my calling.
I don't know. Beamy's saying I want more tropical Hawaii. I know Jason's just come back from Hawaii as well. I don't know. There's a
Oh,
huge Stargate on Hawaii. I talked about it on another video, and that's how they get all the things on and off the planet. Is mainly through that one in Hawaii. Um, there's a song
interesting.
apparently. I'm going to Texas. So Texas is more forward thinking and making more aligned decisions. Really? I don't know. That's what Heather says in the chat.
We don't
Okay.
have that reputation.
Yeah.
It's more like the cowboys and the rednecks, and that's the kind of reputation they have.
Okay, so yeah, the chat is open, guys. If you want to put your questions in for Jane, put them in now because we've got about 20 minutes left. Okay, so anything that you want her to answer, let us know. Um, Okay, I'm just checking there. So right, sometimes they go off on tangents. They really do. My problem is I read out everything I see. It's kind of part of how my mind works. So occasionally they have to like hide things from me or like super cryptic, and then I'll be like, "Why is that so cryptic? Like, what are they talking about?" So but we get a bit crazy in the chat at times. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the way you interact with the checks. It's very lively and fun, and
Yeah.
you've brought despite what you've been through and going through, you bring a levity to the
Oh,
to
okay.
the movement and humor and fun,
I'm a
and
I'm a
I
certified
I love
laughter
that.
yoga leader, so I can laugh at anything. I've been trained to do that. You do 2 weeks of
Me
training for
too.
laughter yoga leading, yeah. So it's sometimes I laugh at the wrong things and people get
Me
offended,
too.
right? So
I've
because I have
learned.
no control over my emotions, either I can have zero or I can be overwhelmed or I've got no idea. Um, Jerry's saying drive your giant truck in Texas. Yeah,
I'll
I
get a
wouldn't
big
mind
old
having like a camper van. I would be quite happy with a camper van. I did like 6 months of camper vanning in Australia when I was traveling out there. Oh yes,
yeah.
Beamy, thank you. Beamy's just caught one of the thoughts that I had. Jane, how did the Wizard of Oz connect with you? And they still haven't managed to watch the whole thing. So when you were making that video with John Whitberg about the Wizard of Oz, how did you feel about that? Was that triggering? Because I know it was really hard for John. It was very hard.
Yeah. Yes, it was hard for me in the sense I recognized that I had fulfilled the role of Dorothy most of my life and kept slipping into that. And I think it took me a while to come out of it. saw it for the first time with sadness and grief rather than I was magnetized and hypnotized my whole life. I used to wear red sparkly shoes. I bought red sparkly shoes for my daughters. I thought somehow in my mind control, it was protection for them. Whereas really it was bringing you down the road of MK Ultra. It was mostly grief that I had been that kind of a victim, and I continued to caretake all the characters in my life and all my alters, and believed that over the rainbow was my salvation, where it was a way of just putting me in a state of just waiting for life to begin, and it was going to begin after death. Really,
Wow.
that's really what the message was. And so I'd put my soul essence on hold my whole life, waiting for somewhere over the rainbow, and allowed these altars to control me. It was mostly grief and sadness for me, to let go of the whole fantasy and the whole dream
Mm.
of, salvation by some wizard. And um I think the poppies were blood and the shoes were really blood, and
Mm.
going to sleep to the reality of MK Ultra. So mine was less was not deeply metaphoric, but superficially very metaphoric. I think John had like more SRA or military. Mine was probably sex trafficking. You become, a
Mm.
victim, and you placate everyone around you, and you stay a little girl. You have to stay a little girl to be appealing. And I
Yeah.
had that my whole life. I was supposed to be young, and
Yeah,
to be
I'm
attractive,
still.
you had to be young.
Yeah.
I still like I'm still pushing that. And I'm like, well, you're
Yeah.
running out. But no, I think that was one of the saddest things. I could only be loved if I was a young girl, virginal looking and acting. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's actually taking me more time than I realized to pull out of it.
How did you feel about the like decode? Were you happy with what he was saying, how he analyzed the film? Or was there anything
John,
that really surprised you? Yeah.
I think there was things that surprised me. I honestly was in a survival mode a little bit, so I
Mm.
wasn't like reacting like I am now.
Yeah.
We were both in sort of a mode, but I think we trusted each other, so that helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some things he said that really surprised me, and I can't remember. I think it had to do with military training. The Tin Man and the Scarecrow, they were all like completely different than mine. Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for John Whitberg. I know everyone sees that he's a young chap, but the amount of knowledge and experience that's in that brain is just it's old.
And
He's an
he's also
old.
very mature.
Yeah,
Like
he's like an old. I
it
call
made
him
me
old man.
young. He's
So
an old man.
yeah, he
Like
is.
he'll call
He
me,
doesn't
and
like me
I'm
saying it, but
I'm
I call
like
him
I
old
could
man.
be his grandmother, but we talk like we're the same age.
Yeah,
He has,
yeah.
because I have very youthful, but I think combination of him like being an old,
Yeah, he honestly, I think of myself as, because even like, I'm, even though I've got like a sibling who's younger than me, I know that they're older than me in the programs. So again,
yeah,
I'm still the little sister. And then with John Whitberg, I feel like I'm younger than him. Like I'm the student, he's the teacher, because that's the relationship we
yeah.
had off planet. He was my professor. And he was training me in espionage, and I was a student. I wasn't a young student. I was like a maybe 20, 22, and he was his alter was in his 30s, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, so we still have that kind of dynamic. So we were friends off planet, and we're pals now. But I do see him as very wise. I really do. So
Yes.
sometimes his perspective on things just blows me away. Like, so yeah, it was hard to watch The Wizard of Oz, but I think you guys did a really good job, and it was 2.5 hours of decoding that video. Oh my word. So
It
you did
was
an
it was
amazing
like
job.
I was in a or altered state because it didn't feel like that much time.
Yeah.
And it also didn't feel like I was like dying to stop. I was just in this strange,
Yeah.
not totally uncomfortable state. It was
Dissociated,
just
maybe?
time out of time out
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't an easy topic, but there was a couple of things that made me like, whoa, okay. And I don't believe that was my program video. Maybe mine was, Return to Oz. that was created so many years later, that was mine, I'm pretty sure. Because I remember being at the cinema. I remember a lot from how I reacted when I watched it at the cinema. And I definitely had that, and I had Bambi. Yeah, and I've not heard anybody else talk about Bambi Disney movie.
Oh,
So,
I think my daughter, it was used on my daughter.
ah,
That I
okay.
so the Disney movies is just traumatized children. They're
Yeah.
abandoned. They're places alone. And Bambi's one of the most horrifying, traumatic. Like, why are we showing this to kids? It's just it's awful. It's interesting. I talked
Mm,
to a friend of mine who actually was my next door neighbor when I was 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And because I had put an ad up for Wizard of Oz in my story, and he goes, I said, yeah, I remember we watched Wizard of Oz once a year. It came on, it was black and
mm.
white. And he goes, no, twice a year, Janie. And I went, really? He goes, yeah, everybody from the neighborhood came over to one person's house and sat, whoever had a TV, because not everybody had one. And we'd all sit in front of the black and white TV twice a year and watch Wizard of Oz. I'm sure I saw it thousands of
Yeah.
times.
So,
In the
yeah.
front life I was living, I saw it twice a year.
Wow, that's bad. So talk about my dyad, and he appears in the chat. So shout out to Draco Reed, portal to another dimension. Thanks for popping in, Draco. Draco and I have got a show on Typical Skeptic this Sunday at 8 o'clock
Okay.
Eastern.
Oh, we'll have to catch that. I'll
Yeah,
share it, see it.
yeah. So it's going to be cool. So we're kind of finishing off now, guys. If anyone's got any final questions for Jane, please pop them in the chat. I'm just scanning the chat to see. There's some crying faces in there. It's okay, Heather. It's okay. She's very protective of me. So Bambi was triggering for James Witkiss as well. Yeah. So James and I have got quite a lot of parallels in our programming. So just scanning through. So is there anything else you wanted to share, or any topics we've not discussed that you wanted to just drop into? I just need to clean my glasses as well.
You talking to me?
Yeah, talking to you.
You're talking to me?
I'm talking to Janie.
Um,
Sorry.
we went through SSP and
Yeah.
targeting, you and I are very much into the healing aspect, which is
Mm,
probably why I'm still alive, decades into this program. Yeah, I do shamanic healing. I've had decades of training, and we're all born a shaman. We all have extrasensory capabilities. It's nothing special, it's just if you focus on it. And I have a website, I do remote view, I do psychic reading and shamanic healing. And I'm a Reiki master like Julia. So if anybody, wants to connect with me, I also have free consultation. You can sign up for that. I don't know if there's anything else. Each of these subjects we could go
Talk
on for
about the
more
memberships
hours.
on your channel. You've got some new memberships, haven't you?
I think I do. I just got monetized. I think I can't even remember. I think one level I will do once every 2 week group healing. And then I also have products. I can
Hmm.
give it a discount. I make herbal products. I make organic creams. I make herbal sachets, and there's a discount on that. There's a level 1, there's a level 2.
Hmm.
And I'm just getting in the swing of monetize. At first, when I got monetized, I couldn't do a video. It totally changed my
Yeah.
perspective on like, what do I do now? I'm supposed to do a video to make money. Like, I can't even
No,
conceive
it's
of
just the
that.
same. You just do what you normally do.
I
It's
know, and that's
fine.
what everyone's saying. Like, just continue. I literally couldn't do a
Uh,
video for like a month when I became monetized.
Yeah.
Like, I was supposed to be Joe Rogan all of a sudden.
For me, it's like because super chats and everything have activated, but you can't cash it out until you hit a certain threshold. So
Yeah.
I've got like $50 just sitting in YouTube that I can't get to till I get to like $70, $80. So that's annoying. So I still promote the PayPal and everything if people want to support the work we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you put the
Um,
PayPal in the chat?
Yeah, so the
Your
moderators share the links for me. So Jason
Okay,
Missing Time
I've
has
got to
just
get on
shared.
board.
He's just shared your the link to your channel. So please do subscribe
Oh,
to
thank
Jane
you.
Celia Hatch on YouTube if you can. And
Thank you.
oh yeah, so Beanie's saying they've had a couple of sessions with you and highly recommended.
Who is it?
Yeah, for me to be me for.
Oh, hi, hi.
So
She's so
I call
great.
them
She's such a
Beanie.
great support.
I shorten
She's
people's
such a
names
great.
to what I can
She's
remember.
great.
Yeah,
She's a
yeah.
great
So
supporter. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
and
great.
you did like a psychic scan for me, and that was very good. Yeah, lots of great information in that. Um, So Beamy's saying, thank you, everyone. I feel so honoured to be watching the two of you ladies. Wow, that's so nice. Thank you so much. No, this has been a great show. So you've got your channel, you've got your website. So I'm going to link everything in the chat afterwards. If people want to connect with you, what's the best website? Because you've got janeceliahatch.com and you've got another website. Do you still use that one?
Radiant Earth Mother is the best. The Jane Celia Hatch, I thought it was decommissioned, but I guess it's still up and going. I need to
Yeah.
either take that down or revive it. So it would be Radiant Earth Mother, and then I have Substack, Stargaze, Stargate Opener, Facebook, and I do. Oh yeah, I do have another book coming out, Royal Blood, Royal Blackmail, which is about the MK Ultring of the world, but by the Fourth Reich, but with a specific focus on the bloodline daughter of Queen Elizabeth, who was, Mengele experiment, who went in, that, they immediately put her into sex trafficking, and her relationship with Princess Diana. So it's going to be, I hope, a blockbuster. We'll see.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm trying to get
It's
more
mind boggling.
comfortable talking about these topics. You know what I'm like? When we did our first show together a year ago, and I'm
I
thinking, how
was
do I get her to
laughing
talk
this
about power
I
animals?
was
It's like,
laughing this morning when you were talking, and I was trying to sign up, like, so I could like make a comment, but I will never forget everyone's expression when I was done. I felt like I was like, Ronald McDonald that had come into a kindergarten class, and everyone was
yeah.
like scared.
But it was like, because I at the very beginning of my podcasting, I was doing it on my wellness group with my ladies in the UK, and I was
Yeah,
just kind
yeah,
of working up the courage. I knew about the SSP, but I hadn't really
yeah,
deep dived into it. I don't think I'd even connected with Drago at that point in time, and so I didn't have a
yeah.
lot of memories. I didn't have any context, right? So I'm sitting there thinking, God, she's talking about sex trafficking, and I just wanted to talk about power animals.
Well,
And I
I
didn't know
could
what
have
to do.
talked.
I was like,
I could talk all day about power animals, but I thought you had connected to me through SSP. So I'm like just spilling the
so
beans and these
yeah,
poor
yeah.
ladies, right?
So I was a bit like in shock. And then when we did the show with Christy Campbell, then I was starting to get more comfortable and I started to do guest spots in Typical Skeptic. But it's taken me a year to kind of like SSP my brain back together. And
Yeah.
I've got a different brain now to what I had when we first did this. So yeah, I am AnchorHaven and this is the mystical wellness channel. But yeah, we deep dive into it now. We get into the debriefs now, which I couldn't do a
Yeah,
year ago.
I've
So I'm getting
watched your
comfortable.
evolution.
Yes.
I've watched your evolution from that moment, and
Yeah.
like she's
Yeah.
really getting into it now.
Oh,
Like,
I'm on a roll now. Yeah, now I can do a debrief, no problem. Yeah, so my brain has upgraded so much. Like my IQ has gone up like 100 points and stuff in the last year. I'm not joking. As the alters come back in, because they're all like super scientists and stuff, it's like ding, 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 ding. Yeah, so I'm really starting to level up now. My capacity to hold information is a lot better as well, but I still get a lot of mind wiping. So I'm actively analyzing and researching all the freaking time.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yeah.
yeah, but I like to try and break things down in the simplest form if possible, because I'm still, my channel is still a foundational channel. It's for beginners, people who are waking up. That's my channel. People who are finding each other. That's the kind of thing we do. But from time to time, I'm working into, the darker stuff now. So thank you for helping me do that. James Wick is in
Well,
the
I
chat.
also
He's put
love that
Barbara, our
you
Black
keep
Sheep
the
Rebel Alliance. Sorry.
I love that you keep the healing aspect of it central too. You
Oh,
haven't
of course,
discarded it.
of
It's
course,
integral
yeah.
and it's so important.
Yeah, because it's like it's you, me, Christy Campbell, Michael Koff, and a few others of us who are all Reiki masters. We're all healers, and that is our focus. Is like reaching out to safeguard the community, the vulnerable people in the community who are getting targeted and isolated, and then they become the Project Oblivion handlers and agents, and they're getting
Oh,
used
right.
against us. So I think it's important for us all Reiki masters and whoever, shamans to get together. And even though we've got that both sides, you've got the balance of we've got the warrior aspect and we've got the healer aspect, and we bring that together. Yeah, that's super important for our movement. It really is. Yeah, there's got to be that
Yeah.
balance. Yeah. Okay, Jane Hatch, this has
All
been
right.
so brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you.
everyone
It's
for
always
watching.
fun. It's always fun. No matter what we talk about,
Yeah,
it ends
always
up
fun.
very light.
We've got a good flow going now as well, which is awesome. So yeah, you're welcome back on anytime. I'd love to have you on for a regular monthly show. That would be perfect for us. That would be so good.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So people are chatting in there. So I'm going to end the live stream now. So thank you so much, everybody. And then Jane, we've just got like an extra minute while I end the recording. But thank you
Okay.
guys for watching us, and we'll be back on. I do a live every morning at like between midnight and 2 a.m. Eastern, which is 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. UK time. I do at least 5 a week if I can. So we all get together, show up, support each other, and we have some fun in the early hours of the day.
Yes. Yes.
It was
Yes.
really
Yes.
funny, really good. Okay.